Be still and know that I am God. Not tomorrow, not when you are better, wiser, or more deserving. Now, in this instant, without traveling an inch in space or an hour in time, the word announces itself as a present fact. I am God. I am here. I am the life of your life. Do you feel how that undoes all the bargaining and busy prayer of the anxious heart? I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. The promise is not a promissory note to be cashed later. It is an announcement of presence, a declaration of isness. God, God, God. I in the midst of you am mighty. Hear that, as spoken to you, within you, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Underneath of the everlasting arm. Fear thou not, saith the Lord, for I am with thee. We do not gather tonight to persuade a distant deity, to shout across the skies and hope for a signal returned. We are here to let the already present light be recognized as the very essence of our being, to let its peace come through as naturally as breath. God, the only power of the universe, only power, only wisdom, only life. Now, I must say this gently but clearly. Striving has worn you out. Has it not? Managing, fixing, sailing the little ship of personal will through tempests of demand. Well, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, or how ye shall make it all come right by Thursday. Be still and know. Our posture tonight is not that of informing God, but of being formed by God. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. That is the stance, the humility, the doorway. We lay down the tools and the arguments, and we consent to be carried, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Before we go further, I am going to name the practice and the experiment so there is no mystery about it. Before this hour is ended, we will share a simple 2 minutes of stillness, 2 minutes, a holy interval. We will utter the name, just God or I or Father, once, twice, perhaps thrice, and then we will listen. No pleading, no mental pushing, just a listening attitude. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. We will not look for results. We will not take our spiritual temperature. We will rest, and we will let grace do what grace alone can do. Now, if you like, just for a breath, say the word I, not loudly, not to the room, but to that quiet place within. I. Let it echo without adjectives, without history. Before Abraham was, I am. Do you sense the stillness that is not made by you, the hush that is already here, as if the very air bows in reverence? That is not imagination, that is recognition. It is the presence announcing itself, not as spectacle, but as peace. This is the aim of our time together, to watch grace take over as effort stands aside. He performeth that which is appointed for me. When we cease from our works, the work appears effortless, orderly, inevitable as dawn. The shepherd voice leads, we follow. The inner wisdom acts, the outer circumstances fall into place without strain. You will find, as you begin to live from this listening, that answers arrive like gentle rain, that steps establish themselves without debate, that your yoke is easy and your burden is light, for it is not yours at all. So, beloved, let this be the foundation. God present now, not a theory, not a promise postponed, but the living I that speaks within and says, I am here. Take your hands off the wheel, if only for 2 minutes. In a few moments we will enter that shared hush and let grace do the doing. Until then, rest your heart in this certainty. I in the midst of you am mighty. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Be still. Know and watch what the eye is already performing. Now we must come to this great turning from managing life to yielding to grace. Take no thought for your life, said the Master. Not because life is unimportant, but because anxious thought is the very mist that hides the sun. Thought as strain is the blockage. Thought as listening is the way. You know the difference. One is the clenched jaw behind schedules and schemes. The other is the soft inward ear that says, Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Well, which shall we trust? The clenched jaw has had its long trial. Let us give the inner ear its day in court. Prayer, then, is not sending reports to headquarters. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. Is it not a little humorous, kindly humorous, that we have spent years telling omniscience what is happening? We have rehearsed symptoms, balanced budgets before the throne, pleaded conditions to the one who formed us from the womb. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, fear not. Our part is not to inform, our part is to be formed. Prayer is not asking, not pleading, not mental pushing. Prayer is opening, beholding, consenting. It is a holy exposure to the presence that already is, the eye that is closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. Now, hear this with your heart. Grace is not a reward for effort. Grace is a state that cancels effort's necessity. A state of grace banishes, annihilates, wipes out physical law, mental law, karmic law, the whole machinery of cause and effect as we have known it, and moves us into divine flow, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Under law, we attempt to push consequences around the board. If I think enough, declare enough, toil enough, perhaps the wheel will turn for me. Under grace, the wheel ceases to be the master. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof. Under grace, he performeth that which is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Do you see? The doing is done as we rest in the doer. The Red Sea opens not for the best swimmers, but for those who hear, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Let me bear witness to this. Years ago, flying into Honolulu, I was busily managing God. Oh yes, I was, and making sure the meetings would go right. A little voice within, barely more than a feather's touch, said, Drop it. Be still. I obeyed for 2 minutes. Just 2. God, God, God. Then silence. The itinerary that had seemed so urgent rearranged itself without a phone call. A meeting I would have forced vanished cleanly. Another opened that became the key to the whole work there. Nobody pulled a lever. Grace flowed as if it had been waiting on the other side of my effort. Many of you can testify the same. When thought rests from managing outcomes, the needed letter arrives, the needed word is spoken, the needed path appears at your feet, and you find yourself saying, Surely goodness and mercy have followed me. This requires an orientation shift so simple the mind overlooks it. We turn from the condition to God, from symptoms to spirit, from effects to cause without cause. We do not pick at appearances like a scab. We behold reality until the shadow has no ground to stand on. The practice is this. Look Godward, not conditionward. Become a witness, not a fixer. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. When the impulse comes to report the problem, stop, turn within, whisper I, then listen. Leave the patient and the condition outside the sanctuary of that 2 minutes. Do not measure, do not time the miracle. Be still and know. And as surely as dawn breaks uncoaxed, the inner presence will do its own works through you. So, beloved, let us put down the little tools. We have hammered long at doors that are not even ours to open. Hear the inner voice. I in the midst of thee am mighty. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Consent to that might. Yield and watch the invisible order assert itself. Take no thought. Take no thought. Take no thought. Lift your gaze from what clamors and set it on what is, and you will find that grace, quiet, sure, unhurrying, has already gone before you to make the crooked places straight. Now we come to the tender secret. So close the mind has missed it, and so obvious the heart has always known it. Now, could you just for a moment say the word I? Not loudly, not to the room, let it be an inward utterance, a feather's touch. I, again, softly, I. And now watch. Where did that arise? Not on the lips, not in the skull, not in the breath itself, but closer than breath. Not in the hands, but nearer than hands and feet. It is the silent center that speaks without sound. Before the mind attaches a history or hangs a label, there is simply I. Before Abraham was, I am. This is not poetry only. It is the nameless fact before names, I. The simplest word we have, and yet the oldest sound in the universe, the living word that formed you before your mother knew your name. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb. Fear not. Do you hear? The one who formed you speaks within the very utterance by which you call yourself when you say I, without story or strain. You are touching the presence that lives you. Not the little personality with its changes and chances, but the I that does not age, does not grow weary. I in the midst of you am mighty. The I that is God, God. The I that breathed you into being and never for a moment departed. The I that says with present tense tenderness, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And so, beloved, you are not alone trying to live a life. Life is living you. The doer is within the deed, the singer is within the song. The life is the life of your life. Not I, but Christ liveth in me, said the apostle. And he did not mean a theological figure at a distance, but the same I that now rises quietly in your own chest when you whisper I. It is the guide. It is the way. It is the shepherd voice that leadeth you beside still waters, that restoreth your soul, and that goes before you into every scene of your day. Hear Scripture, give it to you in the great vow. I will go before thee, and make the crooked places straight. I will gird thee, though thou hast not known me. Ah, isn't that a mercy? Even when we did not know, it was girding, strengthening, sustaining. Now let us be very plain, for this is the safety of your soul. God, the only power of the universe, only power, not a large power among many, not one side in a tug of war with circumstance. Only when you rest in I, you are resting in the one before whom all shadows flee. You are no longer negotiating with appearances, no longer in court with a second power. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? In the recognition of I, opposition becomes appearance only, a mist evaporating in morning light. We do not fight the mist. We face the sun. Try it once more. Close your eyes if you wish. Touch the center without moving an inch. Whisper, I. Let it be a doorway, not a declaration. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Now do nothing, 2 or 3 breaths. No report, no problem, no plan, only the listening. Notice how the body softens as if carried. Notice the invisible assurance, quiet as a hand on the shoulder, that needs no words. I am with thee. That is the click some of you will discern. That is the yes without noise. Do not inspect it, do not measure it, recognize it. From this point, identity ceases to be a doctrine and becomes living companionship. Decisions that seem solitary become shared. Steps arrange themselves not by manipulation, but by presence, recognizing its own path. The I you speak is the indwelling deity, the doer, the guide, the life of your life. When you go to your work, it goes first. When you enter your home, it is already there. When you face what looked like a wilderness, it has paved a way in the desert and a river in the dry place. So rest, dear heart, not in effort, but in I. Rest in the only power, the only presence, nearer than hands and feet, closer than breathing, who even now whispers within you, fear not, I am. Now, because love is practical, let us make the doorway so plain that a child could find it in the night. 2 parts only. First, a brief contemplation, name and knowing. Second, listening holy silence without project or plan. That is all. Uda God, then listen. The doorway is a whispered name followed by quiet deeper than thought. Part 1. Let the word be God. Not many words, just God, 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 softly, without push. Let the phrase be still and know that I am God. Drop like a stone through the surface of the mind until the ripples cease. Do not tell the word where to land. Let it find its own depth. You are not informing a deity of your situation. You are acknowledging the I that already is, already here. God, God, God. If you wish, add the scripture's breath. Be still and know that I am God. Then stop. Enough. We are not building a tower of syllables to reach heaven. Heaven is within you. Now, boundaries, these make the sanctuary safe. Leave your problem outside. Drop the patient and the condition. Do not bring a ledger into the temple. This is not the time to examine symptoms or to negotiate outcomes. Your Father knoweth. You are here to behold, not to bargain, to consent, not to compel. Never look for results. If you peak, you pinch the stem. If you measure, you meddle. We come not to get anything, but to open out a way for the imprisoned splendor to escape. Part 2. Listening. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. That is the inner posture. No words now, no verses, no argument, silence. Let the earth of your thoughts keep silence before him. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Be as one seated beside still waters while another restores your soul. 90 seconds. Yes, mark it if you must in the beginning. A handful of breaths for the name, and then 90 full seconds of holy quiet. Do nothing. Expect nothing. Be still and know. If a thought about your affairs knocks, let it pass on as a stranger. Our business now is God. God, the only power. Only 2 minutes total. That is our compact. Perhaps 20 or 30 seconds to let the word descend. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Then the long minute and a half of listening. If you feel a weight slip from the shoulders, fine. If you feel nothing at all, fine. Never look for results. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. The work is not yours. He performeth that which is appointed for me. The wind bloweth where it listeth. Let it. What then is the fruit? Not a performed trick, not an immediate report, but a cleared channel. The imprisoned splendor, call it the Christ within, has a way open to flow. In that flow, grace acts. Thoughts arrange themselves with a wisdom not your own. Steps appear without strain. Yet in the moment of practice you do not grasp or count. You abide God. 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 Silence. Speak, Lord. Thy servant heareth. That is all. In a moment we shall enter it together, but even now, let your heart rehearse the simplicity. 2 minutes. A whispered name, then holy quiet. Leave the problem outside the door. Be a beholder, and let the presence do its own works. Let us do it now, together, as one heart. Set a simple intention. 2 quiet minutes for God alone. Sit as you are. Unclench the jaw. Soften the shoulders. Let the hands rest as though carried. We are becoming beholders, not managers. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. This is a safe place, a holy place. Underneath are the everlasting arms. No effort, no bargaining, only consent. First, the brief utterance. Do not push. Let the words be feather light. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. God, the only power. Only I in the midst of me am mighty. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. I in the midst of me am mighty, nearer than hands and feet, closer than breathing. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Now we listen. No more words, no verses. Holy quiet. Let thoughts pass like birds across a clear sky. Do not follow. If one catches you, simply touch the word once, God, and release it again into silence. Listen without reaching. Yield the rein. The presence is here, unhurried, unprovoked, self-announcing. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Allow the breath to be breathed. If there is a softening at the chest, fine. If there is simply a quiet blank, fine. We are not evaluating, we are consenting. Rest in I, be a beholder. Let the inner ear turn toward that hush just beneath the noise of mind, where a subtle weight lifts of itself, where the heart knows without sentence that it is held. Thou preparest a table before me. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Nothing to get, nothing to fix, only the river moving of its own accord. If another thought arises about time, results, the next task, touch God once more, softly, and return to the meadow of listening. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof. Be still and know. If you are tempted to help, to add a phrase, to nudge the silence, smile inwardly and let it be. Grace is already acting. He performeth that which is appointed for me. Our part is quiet consent. Keep the gaze inward, not at appearances. Drop the patient and the condition. Become only a witness. The click may come as ease, as warmth, or not at all to sense. Either way, the work proceeds. The shepherd goes before, the sheep hear his voice. We will seal this without strain. Very softly now, like a leaf touching water, thy will be done. Amen. Do not open the ledger. Do not take your temperature. Simply notice the residue of stillness as a fragrance remains after a flower is gone from the room. Perhaps the breath is slower. Perhaps the shoulders have forgotten the load. Perhaps nothing is detected, and that too is holy. We never look for results. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Beloved, that was 2 minutes given to God. And in that shared hush, grace worked while we rested. We did not push the river, we entered it. We did not manage outcomes, we yielded to presence. Keep that simple door within reach of your next hour. At the first sign of the old striving, pause and touch the name God and return to listening. The indwelling eye goes before you to make the crooked places straight. Rest in that, and let the day arrange itself by a wisdom not your own. Now, beloved, Let us speak of that subtle assurance, that quiet amen within which some of you tasted just now. It is not fireworks. It is not thunder on Sinai. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. It arrives as a softening of breath, as shoulders that remember to fall, as a warmth at the sternum, as a small lightness not fastened to any reason, or as wholly nothing at all. Yes, mark that. Wholly nothing at all. The absence of strain is itself a sign. The click is assurance without noise, presence recognized rather than results inspected. Do not grade the silence. Never look for results. Seeds do their finest work beneath the soil, unwatched. You may say, but how shall I know? You will not know in the way of measuring rods and ledges. You will know as a flavor, as a change of government in the inner court, witness over will being carried rather than doing the carrying. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Not a peace that shouts, look at me, but a stillness that needs no advertisement. Be content with that. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, not in the cataloging of symptoms or the timing of answers. I have found through the years that the presence often signals its yes like a hand at the small of the back, gentle, steady, not pushing, simply there, and that is enough to take the next step. Not 10 steps, the next. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a searchlight to the horizon. Treat it as manna, sufficient for the day, gathered fresh each morning. Do not hoard. Give us this day our daily bread. Take therefore no thought for the morrow. Let tomorrow's light be tomorrow's gift. May I offer a small testimony, not for spectacle, but for recognition. A friend, quick with words and quicker with worry, had drafted a sharp letter to correct the wrong. Just before sending, she remembered to give God 2 minutes. God, God, God. Silence. In that hush there was no argument, only a feather touch. Wait. That was all. No prophecy, no reasons, just wait. She obeyed the inner yes to delay, and the next afternoon an unexpected call turned the whole matter inside out with kindness. The letter was never sent. The click was not a drama. It was assurance without noise, a presence recognized that altered the course of an hour. So, when you rise from your chair after those 2 minutes, do not run to the window to see if the world has rearranged itself. Do not take your temperature. Simply notice. Was the breath gentler? Did the mind lose its edge? Did the interior weather become less windy? Or was there holy quiet with no particular sign at all? All of this is well. We never look for results. We are beholders. He performeth that which is appointed for me. If during or after the stillness a word, a line of scripture, a simple phrase surfaces, fear not, I am only, be still, jot it down, just a word in a pocket notebook on the back of an envelope. Treat it as manna, bread for the next step only. Carry it into the next phone call or doorway as a lamp unto your feet. Do not turn it into a rule. Do not emblazon it as a banner to march others under. It is tender food for you for now. Often that single word will be enough to keep you in witness rather than will to remind you not to meddle but to consent. And when there is nothing, no word, no warmth, only quiet, rejoice. Elijah did not find the Lord in wind or earthquake or fire, but in a still small voice. Sometimes even the voice is not given as sound, but as a rest that remains. The shepherd goes before, the sheep hear his voice in their way in time. Be patient with your way. Keep the practice as you were shown. God, God, God. Listen, never look for results. The click will come as it comes, and even when it is not sensed, the work proceeds. For I in the midst of you am mighty, and I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Walk gently now with your one word, if one was given, and if not, with the fragrance of stillness itself, consent to be carried. That is enough. Now we take the veil off the great law of no law. Hear it without dilution. There is a state of grace that banishes, annihilates, wipes out physical law, mental law, law of cause and effect as master over you. Not because law is evil, but because grace is prior, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Cause and effect is the mill where anxious thought grinds all day and all night. Grace is the Sabbath that interrupts the mill and brings bread from a higher storehouse. God, the only power, only. In that onlyness, the wheel of pushing gives way to the river of procession. We do not crank outcomes, we consent to flow. What replaces pushing? Procession. He performeth that which is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Notice the pronouns. They will save your life. He performeth, not I with my clenched jaw. He, the I within, the shepherd presence. And what is appointed for me carries its own sufficiency. The assignment arrives with the strength to perform it. The word arrives with the grace to speak it. The step arrives with the ground underfoot. As the psalmist sang, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." When it is yours to do, you shall not want time, nor courage, nor provision. When it is not yours, all the wheedling and wringing will not make it so. Let us be concrete, because Spirit loves to prove itself in the dailies. Years ago, a bill faced me printing for a meeting, and my mind began its multiplication. This call, that donor, a little speech to stir the pot. The inner hand upon the shoulder said, "Be still." God, God, God. I gave those 2 minutes without strategy. Within the hour, yes, within the hour, a letter came, misdirected for a week, containing a gift marked for whatever is immediately needed. I had done no pushing. Grace had gone before, and timing arranged itself without my meddling. Another time, 2 souls at odds, father and son, words hot and sharp as thorns, asked for counsel. I would not sit in the court of arguments. We took 2 minutes. God, silence. We did not reference the quarrel. When the quiet ended, the father said almost sheepishly, "I'll call him." He did. No brilliant reasoning, no winner or loser, only a softening like snow over bramble, reconciliation without contest. And some of you know this timing miracle. You miss a train, and in the waiting, a friend you have long needed to see sits beside you unplanned. One conversation and months of effort become unnecessary. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The stillness opens the choreography already set. How does this work? Not by chisel, but by beholding. Browning spoke of the imprisoned splendor. You cannot hammer light out of marble by force. You open out a way for the imprisoned splendor to escape by seeing what is already true. Buddha, beneath a tree, did not negotiate with snakes and pink elephants. He saw through them, and their power fled. Moses did not outswim the Red Sea. He stood still before the I Am, and a way appeared where there was no way. This, beloved, is life beyond cause and effect, not lawlessness, but a higher law that fulfills itself as you abide. Each 2-minute yielding is not a pause from life, it is training in divine order. Anxious sequence says, first I plan, then I push, then I check results. Inspired order says, first I behold, then I listen, then I move in the step given, and heaven's timing bears the weight. Take no thought for the morrow. Think of the lilies. They do not toil nor spin. Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Your arraying is in the beholding. Your sufficiency is in the eye that performs. So let the doctrine become your gate. In grace, the doing is done through you. Your task is consent, not compulsion, witnessing, not wrestling. When the old engine of urgency starts up, put your hand on the key and turn it off with the name God. God, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Allow the next assignment to rise of itself and watch how it brings its own tools. We never look for results. We look to reality. He performeth that which is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Now, beloved, we must speak plainly of sight, for life unfolds according to the eye that beholds it. Scripture gives us a lens. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. If God is too pure to behold it, then evil has no divine mandate. It is appearance, suggestion, temptation in thought, not a power, self-established. The Master said, resist not evil. And why? Because wrestling grants it a stature it does not own. We do not fight shadows on the wall. We turn and look at the light that casts none. Think of our old classroom fable, snakes and pink elephants in a drunken vision. Do you kill the pink elephants? No. You awaken. You sober to the real. Buddha, under the tree, did not negotiate with Mara's parade. He saw through it, and illusion fell of itself like a costume at curtain call. So it is with every fearful picture, lack, disease, conflict parading before the unillumined mind. These are pictures on the screen, not the lamp that lights the theater. We do not fix the film, we turn to the light. What then is our protocol? Never wrestle in appearance. Behold God. Return to I. The moment a picture looms of pain, of shortage, of insult, refuse it, the dignity of your battle. Turn within, whisper, I, God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Let the name be the sun at dawn. Watch how the mist begins to thin without a hand laid upon it. If you feel the impulse to argue with the appearance, to edit it, to pray against it, stop. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. In that silence, the unreality of the claim reveals itself not by your scrutiny, but by his light. Do not misunderstand me. We are not denying that shadows look like shadows. We are denying they have substance in God. There is no sin, disease, or death in God. Therefore, they cannot be the law over God's image and likeness. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And why? For thou art with me. The presence is the safety, not the circumstance. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Through waters, through flames accompanied, that is our covenant. The shepherd goes before, the sheep are kept by the going, not by their cleverness. Consider how morning dispels fog. You do not drive into the meadow with a rake to comb the mist. You wait upon the sun. So with appearances, do not rake the fog of thoughts. Open the shutters. God, God, God. Be still and know. As you keep your gaze in I, the outlines of fear grow pale, the hard edges round off, and what had seemed a fact takes its place as a passing suggestion, like breath upon glass, vanishing as the window warms. Often, while you abide as beholder, the outward picture adjusts of itself, phone calls soften, accounts balance, symptoms release. But mark this well, we never look for results. We behold reality until shadows pass. If, in the midst of the day, a report confronts you, an x-ray, a bank statement, a bitter word, do not carry it into the sanctuary. Drop the patient and the condition. Become a witness. Say within, I. Closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. God the only power, only. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Listen, 90 seconds of holy quiet will do more to dissolve unreality than hours of anxious management. And should the appearance persist to sense, do not be troubled. Mist sometimes thins slowly, then suddenly your safety is not in its vanishing, but in your beholding of the one who never vanishes. This is the way of sight. We do not fix appearances. We behold reality until shadows pass. I, in the midst of you, am mighty. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Keep your eye single, and the whole body shall be full of light. As you return again and again to the eye that lives you, what is unreal to God dissolves from your horizon, and what is real, peace, order, sufficiency, stands revealed, not manufactured. The sun needs no help to shine. It asks only that you face it. Now comes the transfer of trust, the sweet exchange of governments within. We withdraw our faith and reliance from people, possessions, strategies, and we rest it where it has always belonged in I, the indwelling presence. Not because people are bad or things are unholy, but because they are channels, not source. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding, and he shall direct thy paths. God the only power, only. When the heart stops leaning on props and leans into presence, the path that seemed tangled begins to unbraid itself by a wisdom not your own. Take this as your marching order, for it is Scripture personalized. The eye within me goes before me to make the crooked places straight. Say it softly now, as a vow rather than a boast. The eye within me goes before me to make the crooked places straight. That is Isaiah's promise, alive in your breast. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places. The going is his. The straightening is his. Your part is consent. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Let us be practical. Finances first. A bill looms or a ledger looks lean. Old habit would run to 5 calls, 3 schemes, and a night of arithmetic. Not now, 2 minutes. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Drop the patient and the condition at the door of silence. No numbers allowed in the sanctuary. Keep your mind stayed on God. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Listen. When you rise, take only the step given, perhaps 1 honest call instead of 10, perhaps a quiet wait, perhaps a small act of order like clearing a drawer. Then walk on. Do not look for results. Yet watch how timing proves precise, how an email dated last week arrives today, how an expense is reduced without your arguing, how help appears as though already sent. Help, a symptom, speaks loudly. Old habit would consult 5 reports and rehearse outcomes. Not now, 2 minutes. God, God, God. I am the Lord that healeth thee. Drop the patient and the condition. No scan images in the temple. Listen. On rising, take the next right step, perhaps rest, perhaps make the appointment, perhaps drink water as if blessed, perhaps simply return to your task without the weight of fear. The act is not the healer. The presence is. Never look for results. Often the pressure lifts first, and then the picture follows quietly, like a knot that loosens without your fingers. Conversations. A meeting waits, a hard talk, an apology, a boundary to set. Old habit would script and rehearse. Not now. 2 minutes. God, God, God. Open thou my lips, and my mouth shall shew forth thy praise. Drop the other person and the condition. Do not carry them into the silence. Listen. Rise and go when you are sent. Not before. Speak the sentence given. not the speech prepared. You will notice that words arrive unforced, pauses place themselves kindly, and more than once the other heart will already be half open when you arrive, as though someone went before. The I within me goes before me, yes, before you, into rooms and inboxes and doorways. These are your guardrails, beloved. In meditation, drop the patient and the condition. Keep your mind stayed on God. Never look for results. We are not managing outcomes. We are consenting to grace. Then the fruit appears of its own kind. Decisions unforced, timing exact, assistance timely as rain at sowing, reconciliations that feel prearranged. Take no thought for your life, said the Master. And he was not counseling neglect, but inviting transfer, thought replaced by trust, grind replaced by grace. Let the inner presence set the path. Do you hear the quiet government? I, in the midst of thee, am mighty. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Walk in that. 2 minutes before the call, before the clinic, before the bank. God, God, God. Silence. Then the step given, simple and sufficient. As you live this way, you will look back and see a pattern only Providence could have woven, a straight road where a maze once seemed, a kept soul where fear once worked. The I within you has gone before and made the crooked places straight. Beloved, let us let this become the way we walk, not an event but a rhythm, the pulse of a life governed from within. 2 quiet minutes, again and again, let grace take over your days, morning, noon, and night. Upon waking, before your hand reaches for the glass rectangle, God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Listen, at midday, when the tide of tasks is high, 2 minutes of holy quiet. At day's end, before the mind rehearses tomorrow, name, then silence. Short, sincere, repeated. Keep it light, keep it faithful. We are not adding labor, we are releasing it. We are not measuring outcomes, we are consenting to presence. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Yes. Begin so simply you cannot fail. Set a gentle reminder, if you like, not a drill master, but a bell of kindness. Once or twice becomes 3, and then you will smile that you are joyfully hooked. Isn't that wonderful? Pray without ceasing does not mean words without ceasing. It means this return, this inward turn, many times a day. Name as doorway, silence as sanctuary. 2 minutes before the call, before the clinic, before the bank. 2 minutes when you do not know what to say, and also when you think you do. God, God, God. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Then do the next thing given, unforced. Take, therefore, no thought for the morrow. The day will find you already carried. Share the experiment. Grace loves to multiply. Invite a friend to try the live 2-minute. Be still with you on a call, in a quiet room, or each in your own place at the same hour. Utter the name together, then listen. When you are through, do not trade results like trophies. Simply compare the weather of the heart. Was there a softening? Did the need to manage ease? Did a word rise? Fear not, only I am. Send one another only the single manna word, not an essay, once a day. Keep it tender. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. There, in the midst, not over you, not far off, the I that forms, guides, and performs. Carry your benediction as identity. Say softly as you rise from each little sanctuary, I in the midst of me am mighty. God, the only power, only. The I within me goes before me to make the crooked places straight. Walk out softly, assured, not striding, not proving, held. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. The shepherd goes before. The sheep are kept by the going. Let that sentence be your cloak as you cross the thresholds of the day. Now we seal it. Begin tonight. Begin now. 2 minutes. God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Silence. Never look for results. He performeth that which is appointed for me. In the morning, renew it. At noon, return. At night, rest in it. Little obediences, holy minutes, and watch how the choreography reveals itself, the step given, the help arriving, the burden forgotten. You will look back and see that Providence had been busy while you were quiet, that the imprisoned splendor found a way open again and again. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Hold it then. Keep your mind stayed, your minutes given, your gaze within. The grace of the Lord be with your spirit. Walk in the only. And as you do, watch how the I that lives you lives your life until prayer is no longer something you do, but a presence that does itself through you, 2 minutes at a time, until the whole day is taken over by grace.